Hello, my name is Trey Cruz, and I'd like to welcome you to day 2 of Northern Essex's first ever virtual Speechapalooza event. We have 3 very knowledgeable and eloquent speakers today, and I'm very excited for you to hear what they have to say. So let's get started. First up, we have Keri Kurgun here to tell you that you've got the power.
A lot of us here in our class have had experiences with suicidal ideation and have been affected by anxiety, depression, and feeling like we're not good enough. We all have different ways of coping, both negative and positive. I am here as an example of never giving up on yourself and learning how to trust yourself and your own choices and decisions. In my 20s, I went through what I would call my dark time. I turned to drugs to cope with not feeling good enough, worthy enough to achieve what I wanted to do in life. It takes a lot of self-care, strength to get to a point where you can depend on yourself and feel worthy and good, confident that you will never give up on yourself because you know the value of life and how to get where you want to go. Today I am going to talk about 3 main events in my life that changed me for better. 1. God's Harvard. 2. Arrested. 3. Getting help. It all started at God's Harvard. I was a decent student in high school, A's and B's, except for those dreaded math classes. I wanted to become a teacher and teach elementary school age kids. I was into church, but not really one of those Jesus freaks who were totally sold out on Jesus. My favorite teacher went to Gordon College, which I call God's Harvard, and she was a really good teacher. I went to check it out one day, and I fell in love with it. It had everything and even a great reputation throughout the state for teachers. God's Harvard was challenging to get into. I didn't think I would get in. It was a joyful day when I did, and I did love it for 2 years. I had great friends, learned more Bible than I would ever need, swam on the swim team, and was getting ready to study abroad. When I returned from my time abroad, things took a turn for the worse. Suddenly, college got much more challenging, and not only did I have to worry about academics, but also what God wanted from me. The pressure was getting too much. I started smoking this fake marijuana stuff called spice. At first, it's just a cheap way to get high, but what I didn't know is how quickly addicted you could get. It was horrible. I would smoke in my dorm room, steal from my parents, skip class, all things out of character for me. All I wanted to do was smoke and escape the pressure from God in school. It wouldn't be too long before I would get into major trouble. My favorite thing to do was cruise around listening to music and smoke. I loved the sense of freedom and escape I felt. I started smoking too much and driving carelessly. I crashed 3 cars due to being high. Thankfully, I was alone and I did not get hurt. I also hurt the relationships with my parents and friends because I had lied and stolen from them. I did not care about God or church. I just wanted to destroy myself. One day, after classes got out for the weekend, I went to McDonald's, grabbed fries and a shake. I smoked, and the next thing I know, I'm being put in handcuffs. Apparently, I was swerving, and they had me do a drunk testing with walking, the whole 9 yards. I was alert enough to feel shame and embarrassment. I couldn't think of anyone to call except my dad. He came to pick me up, and I was done. I had to go to court and do community service. I had never ever gotten in trouble like that before. I started to realize I didn't want to end up here again and was determined to get myself together. Little did I know how long it would actually take to get where I wanted. I went to Gosnell Treatment Center on Cape Cod. They sign you in, do an exam, set you up in your room. I had a nice woman as a roommate. She had been there for 2 weeks already for heroin. Most people were there for heroin. It was kind of scary to see people in different stages of withdrawal. We did group sessions, counseling, lots of NA and AA meetings at night. For me, I needed to learn how to cope properly, positively, with anxiety, depression, and pressure. They taught me how to take a step back from the ledge, pause, think about what is going on, and how to move forward toward what I want. I was at Gosnell for 1 week. To this day, going there has helped me only not want to use old habits to cope, but I was able to find my own ways, like journaling, swimming, and seeing a therapist just to check in. Like everyone, I have my good days and my bad days. It's how you react to the bad days that determine where you're going. Through my struggles at God's Harvard, getting arrested, and finding help, I am able to stand here and talk about it. I am able to go to school with confidence and say I'm going to accomplish my goals, even if it takes me years. Through the support of advisors, professors, therapists, friends, and my family, I have been able to move towards my goals without succumbing to the call of negative coping skills. You are the answer. You can make good choices. You can make a good life for yourself despite anxiety, depression, addiction, etc. You have the power to overcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Keri. That was very insightful and profound. Next up, we have Kelvin Infante talking about doing what you love.
Alright, so my name is Kelvin, and I'm going to be making the video about finding out what you love, doing what you love to do. So during this quarantine, as we all know, I've seen videos and stuff about the importance of being happy, what it takes for you to live a good, happy life and stress free. And one of the most things was like 90% of people nowadays don't do what they love, right? And it's kind of like doing something that you love is having passion for something, and it's I'm not doing what I love yet, so I can't describe it, but I understand it would be something that you would always be looking forward to, something that you will put all your efforts in. For example, right now, I do not have a job that I love, right? I like my job, but it's not something that I love to do. And that's one of the biggest things that people overlook is finding out what you love to do instead of where the money is, instead of maybe what you like or because it's next to your house. It's one of the most important things when it comes to being happy. People trying to find what the true meaning in life. I believe that's part of it. I believe it's part of the meaning of life. Finding that job that you love to do, because our jobs take about our entire day, right? It's either you're at home or you're at work, right? You gotta bring money to pay the bills. You gotta bring to pay the mortgage. You need that money. Now imagine you are doing something every day that you have to go to, but you love to do it. It's not gonna be considered a job at that point. It's not gonna be a job. It's just gonna be something that you love to do, something that you don't want to miss. Sometimes one of us be like, oh, I don't want to go to work today because I just don't want to, or I hate my job, or I hate this. But when you find something that you love to do, you will never have that problem. You will always love to do it. You'll never be late. You put your best efforts to be the best at it, right? You will always improve on it because it's your passion. That's what you love to do. When you love to do something, you always want to be better, right? I seen a video about this guy says if you are doing a job for someone else that you don't love, it's more of like stress. You're like stressing yourself. And part of it is true. I don't know if you're fully stressing yourself. Depending on the job, of course you are. But I believe that in order for one to live a happy life, right, to be successful in life, you gotta love that. You gotta love what you're doing. So the importance of it, especially now when most of us are young, especially the ones in our class, finding out what you love to do is a big part of life. And it's sad that a lot of people, not sad, it's unfortunate that like billions of people can't say that, right? There are a lot of people in the world that are doing things, including me, that I don't love my job. I like it, it's all right, but I feel like people always go towards the money, go towards what's convenient. You know what I'm saying? And every time I see people that say they love their job, they're always happy, right? They're stress free, they're chilling. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. Um, just wanted to touch on the importance of finding out what it is that you want to do, because if you don't do it, if you don't go all the way to find out what you want to do in life and you settle for what you got, you're not going to live the best life you could live.
And that's Kelvin spitting facts right there. Before I move on to the next speaker, I'd like to give a shout out to Will Tapley, the editor of this event. He's done a great job, as you can probably see. I can't see it, but I'm going to assume it because I know him. Next up, we have Mackenzie Macguire speaking about a specific passion of hers, that is biomedical engineering.
Hello, I'm Mackenzie Macguire, and today I'll be talking about biomedical engineering. You might be wondering, what the heck is biomedical engineering? That's such a big, scary word. Well, I promise you, it's not that scary. It's not that complicated. Biomedical engineering is when engineers apply principles that they've learned to medicine and biology. A lot of people within the industry refer to biomedical engineering as BME, or biomed for short, because it's such a long word. Many people think that this field is brand new. However, it's not. At the start of the 20th century, that's when the first x-ray machine was created, so that's when biomed started to pop up. These engineers are responsible for a lot of technology, such as ultrasound machines, as I mentioned before, x-ray machines, advanced prosthetics, artificial organs, and many other medical instruments. So, why am I talking about biomedical engineering? Well, I'm going to become a biomedical engineer. It's my major. So when I tell people what my major is, I get these weird looks like, what is that? Well, since I get all these questions, I'd like to educate you guys. So next time somebody tells you they're in the same major, you won't be so confused. So, why is the field so important? Well, BMEs have revolutionized the technology that the medical field uses to treat people and animals alike. As I mentioned previously, they've invented numerous ways to help treatment of people. So one instance of this is in 1993. Some engineers created a bionic arm. So they connected it to their nerves, and the brain impulses from the person could utilize the arm like a real arm and grab objects and pick them up. However, they can't feel like us, obviously, but they've made numerous artificial organs, such as artificial hearts, hearing aids, hip replacements, pacemakers, and even kidneys. These advancements have expanded the lifespan of many people. Corrective eye surgery is also a byproduct of this field as well. Basically, any medical procedure that you've had or an instrument in a doctor's office or in the hospital have been probably worked on by a biomedical engineer. So in this field, there's many different areas of focus. Some areas include bioinstrumentation, biomaterials, cellular, tissue, and genetic engineering, medical imaging, and system physiology. Basically, when you go into biomed, you have a lot of different options. Oftentimes, what you can study can greatly differ from what you're working in. Most of the times, updates on the systems are required, so you would go in and install the instruments, so like the x-ray machine, you go into the hospital and install that. You would update it, make sure the software is up to date. You could educate the doctors and the nurses on how to use it and precautions. So a lot of the jobs include manufacturing engineer, quality engineer, and software engineer. Research is also a big part of the field. So researchers typically research diseases and illnesses, so they'll make drugs or vaccines to help treatment in these people. And interestingly enough, a lot of biomedical engineers move on to become doctors. So there's a lot you can do with this major. So how do you become a biomedical engineer? Obviously, you have to start with college. At minimum, you need a bachelor's degree. So a major you can pick to become a BME is probably mechanical engineering, electrical, electronic engineering, or you can pick biotechnology, biomedical engineering, or biomedical sciences. Personally, I'm in mechanical engineering, and I plan to switch to biomedical engineering when I transfer to UML. Regardless, there are many options you can choose to study this field. Many times students in biomed move on to pre-med school, like I mentioned before, a lot of biomeds become doctors. Many opt to obtain their master's or PhD because they're dealing with the health of the public. Skills, you need a lot of skills in this field. Basically, a biomed's a jack of all trades, so a lot of mathematical and science skills are needed. Creativity, communication, problem solving, and analytical skills are also very helpful. Some classes you might take are calculus, physics, circuit analysis, chemistry, as well as an array of biology and anatomy classes. So why do we need biomedical engineers? Well, I've said before, they're making a lot of medical advancements. As we progress, a lot of the baby boomers are aging, so a lot of them are going to need a lot more medical equipment and medical advancements in order to treat them. So although the job outlook on the Bureau of Labor Statistics is kind of average, the field is hard to fill because so many people drop out because of the difficulty and the commitment that it takes to be a biomedical engineer. So a lot of the jobs have been unfilled and left open for people to take. The salary for someone with a bachelor's degree is about $88,000 a year, but obviously depending on the degree you get, the area of focus, and the experience you have, it can greatly differ. But that's what a biomedical engineer is, and I'd like to thank you for listening to my speech today.
Thank you, Mackenzie. That was very informative. So that's all our speakers today. They all had a lot to say, very valuable information we learned, and I'd like to thank all of them for putting themselves out there like that. I'd like to shout out David Radigan, Jonas Rusek, Jasmine, and everybody from public relations class who contributed to this project, everybody who spoke, everybody who had a speech but wasn't featured, and the speakers of the other episodes. Once again, my name is Trey Cruz. Thank you for watching Day 2 of Northern Essex's first ever virtual Speechapalooza. Peace.